Hello, hello, hello. Do I have your attention? Listen up. Why do so many of us feel stuck and overwhelmed? That's the topic of today. And it's bouncing off of my last video where I talked about getting on this detox journey and why it's so important. There's nothing wrong with detoxing. Hello, there's so much toxic stuff out here. Why wouldn't you want to detox? Why wouldn't you want to find a way to get rid of it so it doesn't build up and turn into anxiety, depression, of overwhelming stress starts to build up within you, and it can turn into so many different emotions that are just not healthy. People don't want to be around you. You don't even want to be around yourself. I mean, it can just snowball into so many different things, and that's why I feel like it's so important that we talk about it. So let's talk about it. Reason number one is the lack of clarity and direction. That's reason number one. A lot of people feel stuck because they're not even sure where they're going yet. Like, there's just so much information that they're probably getting from so many different people, so much stuff online, social media platforms, or even if you just research Google, that'll send you in so many directions. And that's why you are probably lacking clarity and direction, trying to figure it out on your own. A lot of us are doing that. That's not always the best, and and maybe you don't have the skills to be able to narrow things down. You have a plan in place. So when you don't have a plan in place, of course you're going to feel lost and unsure of yourself because you don't know what your next steps are. Number two is overcommitment. So how does that play a part in being, stressed out and overwhelmed? Well, obviously, committing yourself means it's just you responsible for something. And when you overcommit yourself, you're putting yourself in a position where you're constantly committing to different things, often too much at one time. And so how does that weigh on you? It's a heavy weight, and it becomes a burden, and it feels like you're trapped. So when you're overcommitting yourself, you're spreading yourself too thin. Unfortunately, we look at opportunities, and sometimes you're not sure if it's an opportunity, so you don't want to miss out, and you just go ahead and say yes to too many things. You spread yourself thin. Now you don't have enough energy to manage it all, mentally or physically. And so what happens is you start to feel weighed down, confused sometimes, and you definitely can't give the best version of yourself to too many things at one time when you're overcommitting. Number three, perfectionism. Who else is guilty? Since I was young, like, I used to get teased as a kid because I was called Miss Perfect, Little Miss Perfect or whatever. I'm not going to say who did that to me, but I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I am just learning to back it on up a little bit and let good enough be good enough. Because sometimes if you overthink things, striving for perfection all the time can lead you to a state of paralysis where you're overthinking so much you just don't even get anything done. And where does that get you? So you have to learn some tools, which I like to go over when I talk to people individually and in groups about how to get past that. And I'll tell you one is to learn how to prioritize and set deadlines. So those are two tips. But definitely perfectionism. There was a person I used to work with at one of my jobs. It was a judge, and she said something about perfection is the evil of good enough. It was something like that. But we used to have to work with parents at one of my jobs. Let's just say maybe there were 10 things on that list of the things that the parents needed to do, and maybe they only got 6, 7 of them done. And it was just like some of the workers would be so stringent, and it was so amazing to hear a judge say, you know what, considering the whole picture and all things, like, that was a lot for that person to even get to 6 or 7 of those things done. So that's good enough. You don't have to be perfect all the time. That's why a lot of us are in that position of probably not even reaching some of our own personal goals, because we overthink things, and then we think that certain things always have to be a certain way before you can take a step. At number 4, y'all, who else has that inner critic? That voice in your head that tells you, you're not good enough. You don't belong in those rooms. Just, just, you want to do what? Are you, what are you thinking? Like, stay in your little box. Sometimes it's not just that voice in your head, it's what other people have said to you. Could have been years ago, but it still replays in your head. You can become your own worst enemy. And so that's definitely a huge reason, because you haven't learned or used or practiced enough one great tool, which is positive self-talk. It may feel weird or sound weird for someone who hasn't done it before, but just as you can hear that negative voice in your head, you can train your thinking or retrain your thinking by using positive self-talk. It's another skill that I've taught a lot of people and talked to a lot of people about, but it helps a lot. But that's definitely another one of those reasons why a lot of us are in this situation today, where we are constantly stressed, constantly overwhelmed, and just constantly falling into the same cycle. Some of you that are watching right now will still be in your position in 2025, in the same position, if you don't learn to say, okay, I've had enough. What do I need to do so this doesn't continue? I'm just one of those people who I'm very empathic. I'm very much an empath. I care about people I don't even know. I'm very emotional, but I know I can do what I can to reach at least one person per video, or one person per, session that I schedule. Whatever the case may be, I just feel like I'm doing my part by putting out this good energy and good information. So anyway, moving on. Reason number 5, fear of failure. I feel like that's a huge one. It's so easy to be in denial. I have dealt with so many people that are in denial about fear. Like, I don't know why people look at it like it's a weakness or something. We all deal with fear. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. The president, the pope, whatever. We all have dealt with fear in some way, fashion, or form. People just, cope with it differently. Some people get past it more quicker than others. We all have our different skills, but it's the ones that run from it. We got to do something about that, y'all. Fear can keep you in a state of stagnation. Let's call it that. Once again, not going anywhere because you can't make a decision because you're scared. And sometimes you can't even admit to yourself that you're scared to do something. So you come up with other excuses. Oh, I just don't do that. Or, that, I'm just not interested. No, daggone well, you do really wish you could push yourself past that fear so you can get to that next level, or try out something different, new, or go for that job. Whatever the case may be, go after that person that you're interested in, but you're too scared. Come on now. You gotta at least open yourself up to an opportunity where somebody can help you, or you can talk to somebody about. You gotta do something. For a lot of people, that fear of making mistakes, or that fear of falling short of expectations, or maybe not meeting someone else's expectations, it definitely holds a lot of us back, and we got to make sure that we have the tools to get past it. And one of the ways to do that is to be able to journal, write some of your goals down, set deadlines again for yourselves, and then have someone to talk to about it, so you can learn how to chip away at that fear bit by bit to where it's manageable, and then you can replace that ability to run from the fear with things that help you cope better and help you push past the fear step by step. It does take steps for a lot of us. A lot of us can't just rush into something new and jump past the fear. It's a little too overwhelming. So you need someone to help you take baby steps if that's what it takes. Reason number 6, lack of self-care. Okay? Self-care, whatever. I mean, we all got hair for the most part. Even if you don't have hair, you got to take care of the bald, the skin. So, taking care of our skin, our hair, whatever the case, whatever it is that you do for yourself, self-care, massages, facials, going for a walk, what you're eating, what you're drinking, just how you take care of yourself overall. If that is not meeting your expectations, even 50% is at least a good mid-range, but some of us are not even touching 10 to 20% of our self-care, and when you're not doing that, it starts to weigh you down, and it can turn you into something that you don't even like and other people don't like, and then all that stuff internalized comes out, and it can affect yourself and other people in a negative way. When you don't prioritize yourself, it comes out in a negative way, physically, mentally, and sometimes even spiritually, if you are a spiritual person, and hope you are in some way. And this is why I talk about total body detox, holistic, because you definitely have to touch on all of those things. It's not just, let me just take care of my skin. You got to take care of what's on the inside too. Number 7 is external pressure. Now, you are not going to do well if you are a people pleaser. It's going to be hard for you. But definitely external pressures, because it's not just yourself that you're worried about. You're taking information maybe from society, from work, from church. I definitely know people who put church before their own family. Like, they will think about what the church person or people will think before they consider what their family thinks. Not to say anybody's right or wrong. I'm not passing judgment, but I'm just saying things outside of you are definitely going to cause pressure on you if you let it. And to what extent will you allow it? You always got to weigh those things. And I'm really big on balance, because if you don't learn how to balance all of these different things, what happens? You become overwhelmed, and then you can start to feel stuck because you don't know where to go, which way to move. Some of us are going to feel those pressures to succeed in a way that other people told you to. If you have parents that you're still trying to please, coach that you're trying to please, your boss that you're trying to please, it's definitely going to weigh on you. And so how do you manage that? How do you keep balance? How do you make sure that at the end of the day, you're serving your purpose? A lot of us don't know how to do that, and so that's one of the reasons why a lot of us are feeling stuck and overwhelmed. If you need someone to talk to, please reach out. I don't mind helping. I personally don't do private mental health therapy anymore, but I can definitely help you figure out if you need a mental health therapist or you just need a life coach. Maybe you could benefit from both. You can comment, you can message me. Number 8 is one of the biggest. I keep even talking about getting help because a lot of people aren't doing that. Number 8 is lack of support. That circle. If you don't feel like you were born into a family or situation where you have a support system, then that means you need to create one. A healthy one, please. It's a lot of negative ones, okay? It's not healthy and it's not helpful. Get yourself out of that situation. And if you need help, click that link. message me. I'll help you find the link if you don't want to go to Instagram, depending on what platform you're seeing this. But I just want people to open their eyes and realize that support is needed, but it has to be healthy. Don't just get around people just to be around people. You're going to put yourself through that just to end up realizing at some point, if you don't go crazy, that it's better to be by yourself than around unhealthy people. Be around healthy thinking, growth, development, positive energy. Feed yourself with all of that stuff. It's just makes all the sense. When you don't have a support system, and especially if you think you're one of those people who has that I did it by myself mentality, listen, there are certain people that can get themselves far by themselves. But what's that saying that I love? You can go fast. By yourself, you can go fast, but together we can go far. But there's only so far that you can get by yourself. Like in terms of elevation, there's only so far that you can get by yourself. Why? Because there's only so much you as one person can learn. Okay? At some point you need a team. It is important to have a supportive group. The group doesn't have to be large, but as long as it's feeding the soul with positivity and good energy, that's what matters the most. To have a network, a group, a community, it's important. I'm part of the Detox Network. And if you're interested, it's really cool. It's new, so it's growing tremendously in terms of resources. But I love all that it's about. And if you're interested, again, leave a comment, go to my Instagram, Tease Detox, same as this channel on YouTube. I talk about the Detox Network a lot. So I'm a huge part of it, and I'm a huge advocate of us getting rid of the toxic stuff around us, socially, internally through, nutrition. All of it is not good nutrition. We already know that, but understanding the effects of it. But I don't want to get into all of that right now. Let's finish talking about this list, because we have come to the end, the last one, which is number 9, the comparison trap. Comparison. Why do we live in this state that once again keeps us stuck? Because we're looking here, we're looking there, we're looking up, down, instead of focusing on ourselves and our souls, our spirits. Having a spiritual connection is important. You comparing yourself to everything you see. And Lord, we already know social media has opened up the doors to even much more comparison, because it's no longer just the people in your school or your neighbor or the people that you see, at the shops or whatever that you're comparing yourself to. Now there's everybody on social media. And it's just a lot. It's overwhelming. It is. I don't care how old you are, from young to old, people are often overwhelmed unless you just learn how to, once again, like I talk about, one of my favorite words is balance. Pull back, recenter, refocus, and balance things out, even your thinking, so that you are not constantly comparing yourselves to other people. Those of us that are stuck in this comparison trap will end up feeling insecure. If you weren't already, it just becomes way worse. And then there's that self-doubt that will kick in and then become even heavier. And now, once again, you're feeling way down, unsure of yourself. You question everything. And some of us have gone so far as to just start copying what other people do, and you don't even know who you are anymore. Where does that get you? It doesn't get you anywhere. And once again, you're stuck. So that was number 9. Hopefully, out of those 9 common things that I have found in working with people, something resonated with someone. Please feel free to leave a comment if you are one of those people and you would just like some more tips. I'll have some information left in my description. this is just for people who just aren't feeling really resourceful. If you're resourceful, then please look up the information in your local area for life coaches or mental health providers, group counseling, whatever you feel like would be beneficial to you. You can also look up the Detox Network on Instagram and message the Detox Network staff there. You can get some options. It's a great program. Like I said, I'm one of the ambassadors there, and I can't tell you how many wonderful resources are offered through the Detox Network. Okay, so I'm about to wrap this up, but before I go, I just want to make sure that I let you know what's going to be in the next video, which is how I started my detox journey. I want anybody listening, hopefully you'll share this with other people that you feel like can benefit from a detox journey. Like, join me. You know, you don't just have to watch me and see how far this takes me a year later wishing you had started. Start with me. I'm going to talk to you about how I started in the next video. Until then, keep shining your light, or at least work on believing that you do have a light within you. We're all born with it. Remember that it's okay to ask for help. In fact, it's the bravest thing that you can do. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to share it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.